Hey there, it's Shannon again. Hey, this time we're going to start working on our ode to adult beverages or a cocktail. So here is our card pieces and parts. We are going to be using, the stamp that says cocktails. We're going to be using the delicious looking hurricane glass plus its solid inside. If you want, you can pull out the lemon or lime wedge and the umbrella top if you want to stamp in these two pieces with the solid image. Otherwise, I think I'm going to use my Stampin' blends and just color those two in. We're going to do a really fun technique with the solid image to give us a real, let's call it a hurricane, all right? Okay, so let's get started. So here are the parts. It is a 2-inch white circle. This is an 1.5 by 4¼ inch Bermuda Bay. This is Coastal Cabana, and it is cut to 4 inches by 5¼ inches. This little mat that goes below is 4 1/8 by 5 3/8. And then this is a standard top fold A2 card, 4 1/4 by 5 1/2. So these are the pieces that you'll have inside your envelope so that we can make this cute card, all right? So we're gonna start, let's see, we're gonna start by making our background. And we're gonna kind of do a fun technique using the word stamp. I'm gonna put it on my block here. We're gonna use the word cocktails. I'm just gonna plunk it on there. And there we go. All right, so here is a foam mat for us to use just in case we need that extra little give when we use the clear photopolymer stamp. I'm gonna go ahead and slide this under a piece of scrap paper as well, just to, because we are gonna be kind of having the ink go over the edge a little bit. So we're going to start with, like I said, the cocktail stamp on this on a clear block. We're going to use Coastal Cabana ink pad, and we are just going to kind of do a repetitive stamping technique across the card. But I want to give you a couple tips. Okay, so we are going to ink up the stamp. We won't start by well, let's see. I think, all right. I just wanted to make sure that I got to the edge of the cardstock because my purpose or my point is I want to make sure all of the card base or this mat here is covered. I didn't want any space to be left. So I'm starting from the bottom. I'm going to work my way up. And what I want to make sure happens is that I offset all the words so that like all the C's don't get lined up or all the T's or, you know, something like that. So what I'm doing is I'm just kind of going to start stamping from the bottom to the top. And like I said, it'll go off a little bit. So you just want to make sure that you've got it kind of offset so you don't start again here. So I'm going to kind of move this over and then go backwards. This last little bit here, I have just a bit of space here at the top, but I don't want to leave that blank. So I'm going to go ahead, I'm going to fill it in. So all of it goes right off the top. Most of it goes off the top there, but that's okay because that is how I want it to look. I meant to do that. Really, I did. All right, so there you go. So that has our layer here covered in the word, and you can use this technique for using any of your word stamps. So let's move on, and we will move to our white circle, our white 2-inch circle, and we're going to use Memento ink and stamp our drinks glass right here onto the circle. I'm gonna pick it up with a clear block. ink it up. And stamp it right here. Okay. There we go. There's our drinks glass. Now we want to have some fun in putting the drink inside the drink glass. So let's pill out, I forgot to grab this. Let's grab the solid stamp that fits inside this hurricane shaped glass. I'm going to go ahead and put it on a smaller clear block. And then I have two colors here of ink. I've got Mango Melody and Melon Mambo. And what I'm going to do is I'm going to ink up the solid stamp in Mango Melody, and then I'm going to take my sponge dauber here and I'm going to just just dot around here with the Melon Mambo. Okay, so let's give this a try. So I'm going to ink it up. I'll open up both. Here we go. I'm going to ink up the whole inside of the glass with, make sure I got it all. So it's all Mango Melody, and then I am going to just ink up my dauber and just lightly pounce along the bottom of this glass. All right, and let's give that a try. So I can turn this over now, and I can clear stamp, I can see through it. I'm going to fill up my drinks glass with this delicious, we're going to call it a hurricane. Woo, there it goes. And you see, look how that turned out. Isn't that cool? And then because of the negative etched into the solid rubber, you've got what looks like a reflection and the ice cubes. Isn't that adorable? Yes, indeed, I think it is. I think that's very fun. And you can do that again with all of your solid color stamps. You can do that sort of ink daubing and kind of blending those colors. I think that's a really cool technique. So I'm going to shut this these ink pads up, because again, nobody wants to be wearing the ink pad. All right, I'm going to set those out of the way here, and then we will, let's see, so it looks like I need to go ahead and color in. I'm going to color in because, like I said, you could use the stamps. There's a wedge for the citrus, lime or lemon, and there's also the top of the umbrella there that you can stamp in. But I think I'm going to give the Stampin' Blends a try. I've got the Granny Apple, both light and dark. I'm going to use the bullet end of the dark and just sort of color the rind or the peel, and then use the lighter one to just color in the wedges. You don't have to be absolutely perfect. I kind of like when there's a little bit of white space left. Let's see, this is Bermuda Bay, and I'm using the light Bermuda Bay. I'm going to just color in the parasol sections. Just pretty quick and lickety split. So there you go. Glass is done. So here are a couple other ideas I was thinking about, just to kind of step this image up a little bit. If you have some of the fine tip glue pen here, or glossy accents or whatever, you could fill in the glass here and it would be shiny like it was a glass. That's something you could absolutely do to step up your stamped image there. I think that I might even take the Bermuda Bay here and just sort of give it a little base there to sit on. Oh, we have one more piece to stamp, and that's the little sentiment. And really, the sentiment makes this card. I think it is just the best. So I'm going to ink it up. I'm going to use Coastal Cabana again as the ink color. ink up the sentiment. We'll see if that works. If we need to do it a little bit more, we can. So the sentiment is, because adulting is hard. So I think that's perfect for our afternoon cocktail on a weekday afternoon. Not that I would imbibe, it must be 5 o'clock somewhere. So basically what I'm going to do is I'm going to take this sentiment strip and I am just going to use my scissors and trim each line out separately. So I just want to go right to the edge. Come just below the words. And we've got that part cut out. I'm going to go back and take the is hard out. There we go, because adulting is hard. It is sometimes, isn't it? All right, so now we can start to build our card. So we have our base, we have our first mat, we have our words mat. This is going to be a flag, or notched flag, if you will. So like I said, this is, I cut it to 1.5 by 4 1/4, and I did that. That's way too long. I see that. But what I'm going to use is the punch here, and I'm going to slip this inside. There you go. Punch. It pops out. Move that out of the way. And now our flag is just right. Okay? So let's start putting this all together. I'm going to adhere the, yes, I did make a little mistake on the back, but paper has 2 sides. And I'm not going to waste my paper. So there we go. Now we're going to mount that to the white matting here. It's just a tiny amount of matting, 1/16 of an inch, I believe. Okay. All right. Then I'm going to mount this to the card base. I just love this background. I think that's so neat. There we go. And then we will 1 inch from the bottom here of the cocktails page. There we go. And then I'm going to, let's see. I think I'm gonna use the edges of my dimensionals here, the backing and the fronting. There we go. And I want to make sure I've left a little bit. Oops, I did it the wrong way. I'm going to take this off. I'm going to just peel it up a little bit. So I'm going to put a little bit of, there is some there, but I'm not sure if it will actually hold. So I just put a little bit of wet glue there. I'm going to put some dimensionals on my glass image. There we go. Grab my take your pick, pull these off. And let's see here. Let's line our glass up. A little smudgy right there. On our glass right here. Take the backing, the paper backing, off of the foam adhesive. I'm just going to put it right here, and then we'll add, again, with a little bit of that foam tape. Okay, so we have some foam on the back, and we're going to place, because adulting is hard. There we go. So there you have it. Our hurricane, pretend we're at down in New Orleans, having a nice cocktail on the patio. And there you go. Our ode to nothing's better than cocktails.